Shwmai, croeso, hello and welcome to episode 74 of the Bluebirds Nest. As we have concluded phase one of the 24-25 Cymru Premier season, I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by the man at the helm of our first team, someone whose leadership has brought the Bluebirds to new heights again this season, whose work behind the scenes has been instrumental in the team's success, the gaffer himself, Mr. Tony Pennock.
Good afternoon.
A record-breaking phase one for so many reasons. The elusive top six spot finally achieved. We've had the most ever wins and points for the club. I think it was 11 wins, 7 draws, and just 4 losses. Knowing how brutal this league can be, I think my favourite stats of all, probably the fact we've just conceded, I think it's 11 goals on our way to obviously picking up 12 clean sheets as well, the most across the league. As no doubt many people have been reflecting recently, I can't help but smile at those stats. I know you've already got your eyes looking forward at phase two, but you must be proud of, a lot of hard work has paid off for those achievements.
Yeah, I've said it all season, really. Since day one, the boys have come in with an attitude that they really wanted to do something this year. We sat down at a meeting, I think it was the first day of pre-season, and talked about the last couple of years and how good it's been. We've got to remember it's been quite a good 2 years. Missing out on the playoffs last year and goal difference than the season before. We obviously know what happened there, but the top six have just been out of our grasp, but we've finally done it. But you just said 11 goals in 22 games is madness, really, how low that is, and it just shows how hard the boys work when we haven't got the ball. And it's something I always say: people are going to pass the ball, give it away. We know that, and we get frustrated with it at times. But it's not that's not the important thing. The important thing is stopping the opposition getting the ball forward or attacking or getting through us. And the boys have worked hard at that. And to a man, they do it great. To be fair to them, and 11 goals is mental, fantastic stat, really.
Yeah, I think I had your good friend Lee Kendall on a couple of weeks ago, inducted to the Wall of Fame, obviously. We spoke about that infamous UEFA Cup season. I think they only conceded 20 goals across the entire league season. There was no split and things like that. So you can't really mirror it, but we're well on track to hopefully better that even as well, going into phase two. So exciting.
It is. When you look at things, I didn't realise this till just now. Look at a few figures from the last 2 years. We talk about, we need to score more goals, and we scored the same goals every season I've been in phase one, 29 goals. Wow. I didn't know that till just now.
That's some stat, yeah.
But the massive difference is what did we concede first year? First year we conceded 35. Last year we conceded 33 and only had 4 clean sheets, 5 clean sheets. And then that's the difference. There's that, and the fact that our squad availability has been unbelievable compared to this time last year. We had 136 unavailable players in 22 games. This year we've got 60 this year. And Willie being the one, being 22 of those 60. Last year we had so many unavailable week in, week out, and this year where the boys are fighting. There's competition for every position on the pitch, and it's tough, but I'd much rather have that situation than what I've had in the past. So long may that continue, touch wood.
Definitely. I keep mentioning you're having good headaches every weekend, but let's dive straight into the squad then, because I know there's a fair bit I'm sure supporters will want to hear about. Let's start at the back, the defensive unit. 2 fantastic keepers, obviously, in Zach and Ivan. We've got some brick walls in the middle. Luke, Jenks, Alaric, Maka. The flying wing backs either side, Yori, Abu, Jacob. I think I've covered everybody else. I'm praying I haven't missed somebody out there. There's been so much good going on with those guys at the back with the clean sheets. As a former keeper yourself, you must be delighted with how they've all done.
Oh, unbelievable. And when you look at, who else can play and help us out of the back if we needed, Watsy, Dylan as well. It's, it makes my job tough, but we've had I don't know what the word is, not a desire. I wouldn't say that we haven't had that in the past, but this year, you see some of the times the boys have blocked shots or stopped crosses is something that I'm always on about, stopping crosses or winning second balls on the edge of the box, in the box. It's so important, to reduce the opportunities that the opposition get, and we've done that all over the pitch. You know what? And it goes from the boys up the top as well. We defend from the front up the top, and they play their part in it as well. But we really have defended. To have 12 clean sheets as well it's fantastic. Zach plays a big part in that as well as the whole defence, because like I say, we score together, we concede together, and we've certainly not conceded many this year.
Long may that continue. It's going to be tough in phase 2, but we've given ourselves the best possible platform, I think. It's going to midfield, and like the back line, yourself and Waggy, you've got good headaches and luxuries with the middle three. An excellent balance, I think, there with the creativity and work rate. We've obviously welcomed back, you mentioned Dylan, who's come back, played predominantly in midfield. We've got Sheps, Ricky, Harry, and obviously the recruits last summer, Kyle Kenneford and Greg Walters. Resolute as well. The defence, I know it started at the very top of the pitch, but those guys they've really stepped up, I think, when they've needed to, offering support at both ends of the pitch.
Yeah, I think the big thing with our midfield this year is, we've got a bit more legs in our midfield. Whichever combination I play, whoever plays the deepest one, whoever plays the highest, we've got people who can cover the pitch, and when their time comes up after 60 minutes or so, I've got 2 or 3 on the bench who can come on and do the same job, and that's been a big thing. Our bench has been fantastic this year. Yeah, people don't want to sit in it, but when they are on it, they have to show me that when they come on, they're going to give us everything, and there's been no sulking this year. People get on with their job. They know how tough it is. I like to think I tell them the truth when they're in the team, when they're not in the team, and people get on with it. And I totally understand people want to play, and if people feel that they're not going to get in our team and that, they leave, and they go with our best wishes. But ultimately, it's a squad that gets success, not 11 players, and that's been the big thing this year, that everybody's stuck together and buys into what we're trying to achieve. Because we'll only do it together. We can't do it with 1 or 2 people trying. We have to do it with everybody at the club, and that's certainly been the case this season.
Yeah, definitely. Before we come on to attackers, I want to mention another midfielder / defender who's been part of the squad for the last few years. You mentioned, obviously, long-term absentee Jack Wilson, obviously jazzed to somewhat as well, but we would love to have seen Scotch back a lot sooner. Obviously, Elliott Scotch, he's gone up to Aberystwyth to get some game time. Finally made his return to competitive football last weekend following his move up there. Will you be keeping a close eye on him?
Yeah, I had a long chat with Scotch. We talk all the time. He hasn't, his last game for us was New Year's Eve 2 years ago against Pontypridd, and he's had a tough time. He knew something wasn't quite right with his knee when I first came to the club, and he only played 12 games that season. And the season before I came, he was in and out with a knee problem. And then he was back training with us. He would come into training for 10 minutes, fit, and his patella just snapped in within 10 minutes from joining in with us. Nobody near him. It was just one of those unbelievable. We all just thought, what's going on there? And in one way, it's been tough for Elliott, but it finally knew what the problem was, and he was able to have he had 2 operations on it, and he's been back with us training this since pre-season, doing bits, and joined in more and more and more. And then he needs to play games. So, I spoke to Cobbs and asked would he be interested before I spoke to Elliott, and Elliott then spoke to Cobbs himself, and I just thought it was the right thing to do, because with the way our squad is in at the minute, we've got 10 games left and playoffs. It was going to be tough for Scotch to get any sort of game time up this more or in the near future. Whereas, Abba said, he'll go straight into their squad, which he has. He played Saturday, and he'll get game time there. So, I'll be honest, a fit Elliott Scotch, I hope will sign for Haverfordwest County next season. But it's one step at a time for Elliott. When he only played for 2 years, he's got to be careful, because we saw it with Dill when Dill came back and he picked up a groin and then he had another niggle.
Yeah,
it's tough on your body to come straight back into things. But one thing's for certain, it won't be for one to try him, because Scotch is a fantastic professional in everything he does. Same as Dylan. Dylan's really, that plays a big part when you come back. Then that you're back in the best possible shape you can be, and it reduces the opportunity or the chances of more injuries. But listen, we're Scotch all the best. If I can get and watch a game, I will. But he can still train with us. Aberystwyth have agreed to that. Scotch came in last week as well and trained with us. So we'll see Scotch regularly over the next 10 weeks or so anyway.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I've ever wanted Aber to do so well, purely because Scotch is up there. Let's come on to the front line then. We can't ignore the firepower we've got up top, the luxury of several fantastic forwards in the squad, each capable of making a difference. And I think they all offer slightly different styles as well. The two Bens, Dan Hawkins, Owain Jones, and December's player of the month as well, Dan John, with us as well as a five-pronged attack for the rest of the season. I suppose picking a pair to start each week is a pretty good problem to have, is it?
Yeah, I do have a few sleepless nights over those lot. Dan John first. Dan's been brilliant. I gotta be fair. The boy trains with us week in, week out. He trains with the 19s. He does double sessions if we train and they train later. He scored God knows how many goals this year for the 19s. I think he's 20 plus. Did last season as well. And he's improved no end. Technically, he's come on loads, and that's just from training with the senior boys and seeing how they concentrate on the level that they train at. Dan is rubbed off on Dan, and he works hard at his game. And then the other four, the senior lads, yeah, it's been tough. Dan always had spell out with an injury here and there. We have to be careful with those. Oz knows that. I've known Oz for a long, long time, and unfortunately, Oz's knees caused him issues for a number of seasons, which is a blow because it's definitely had an impact on his career. But he's a great professional. Again, he knows his body, he knows when he's right and when he's not, and he tells me the truth. Whether he's on the pitch, he just tells me he needs to come off, or if he's not ready to start, or he just doesn't feel right that week in training. You can see with those as well. He can't hide it. And then Forsey and Ben have probably played the most minutes out of everybody out of those four this season. And yeah, like you said, they all give us something different. And some teams, I might look 2 games ahead because I know a certain pairing will work better against those. And I've never had that opportunity really in my previous 2 years, to be able to do that. I sit with Waggy and I say that we're playing so and so. I don't think their centre backs will like playing against whoever it is. I'm not going to say names. But that's definitely happened this year, and touch wood, it pays off. But then the way I look at it as well, if I was a centre back, I know we've done it this year where I've taken 2 off and put 2 on after 60 minutes, and you look at their faces, because whoever comes on has got legs and they're going to run and they're going to work hard, or they're a bit more physical than the ones who've just gone off. And I've definitely seen it a couple of times where the centre halves look across and see who's coming on. You can see their face thinking, we don't need this now. We're already getting in, and it's going to be an even harder last 30 minutes. So it's fantastic for us as a team, and it's great for the rest of the boys on the pitch because they know that when we feed them and give them the opportunities, more often than not, they take them. It's just giving them more opportunities, because maybe in the past we've been guilty of missing a lot of chances. We are creating them. Our biggest thing at the minute is working the keeper more. And the last few weeks, that's started to come a bit more. Against Barry the other night, keeper's made a couple of saves, a couple of blocks on the line, rather than the ball's going past the post over the barn. And that's what I say. If he makes a save, he's doing his job. But not hitting the target is you not doing your job. So just do your job and worry about the rest later on. And they're a good headache to have.
Brilliant. Yeah, we said on commentary the other night, again, you were putting 2 on with 20, maybe 30 minutes left of a game. It must be daunting, when you've got two players on the bench who could easily be starting. And again, opposition managers must be second guessing what you and Waggy are going to do on a weekly basis. And that's such a good luxury, we said, to have.
There are other teams who have got the same luxury as us, really, but it's nice that we've now got it as well. Whereas in the past, no disrespect to the boys who had to fill in from the 19s last year a lot, they always do a fantastic job. And, the academy have provided me with lots of help over the last 2 years, because the kids who've come in have done fantastic and are still doing great. The 19s have another good season. And, it's important that we have that strength underneath us to step in when needed.
Yeah. Like I said, I really do hope I've covered everybody on field there, but let's look off field. There's really an excellent group of people, I think, in key roles at the club now. Obviously, Becky, Harry, Alaric, Dan, Tom, all doing great work on the day-to-day stuff. Mikey as well with the girls and the ladies. Kerry with the development team. All the academy staff. Excellent volunteers. It's keeping things well on track. The board as well, who this week have made their own moves in the January transfer window. 2 new additions have obviously joined the board. So a warm welcome to Ollie Luke and Clive Margetts. We've also got your first team coaching staff, crucial to everything. We've had Harry Jones and Henry on a couple of weeks ago for a chat. Mickey, obviously ever present, and obviously your wingman, Waggy, who, are directly impacting the players. It's such a great team to have off the field, helping you, I suppose, achieve everything you want to do.
Yeah. The club's been transformed since I arrived 2.5 years ago off the pitch. I went to the office yesterday afternoon and stayed there till the kids were training last night, and sitting in my office and seeing, the girls are on the pitch first and seeing, and the younger age groups. It was just brilliant just seeing all that going on at the club. And like you said, they mentioned Becky and her staff, having people around the ground. And there was a schools competition on the ground yesterday before, as I was getting there, that was finishing off, and seeing all I think it was 13 schools from Pembrokeshire there yesterday in a competition. It's just huge and fantastic for everybody to be part of it. Without that, things don't work. I've had a spell away from the club early in the season, and I was so lucky that I had the staff around me to carry on doing what we were doing, because without them, it would have been even tougher for everybody. But Waggy's been lucky this year. He hasn't had so many slaps in the chest, I think. He's kept his distance. I think he's learned that as well. But I couldn't ask for better people around me, and without them, we don't achieve anything. Listen, some people might laugh about my team ethic, but it's true, because when you haven't got people pulling in the same direction or all working for the same goal, things don't happen. And for me, it's massive, and we can only improve as well. There's lots of things we need to be better at. We're not saying that we're the finished article on the pitch, off the pitch, whatever, but people, we're all working hard and all trying to improve the club on a day-to-day basis. And when we do that, then obviously the first team benefit, but the whole club benefits. And it's just a great place to be around at the moment, because it's moving forward, and it's moving forward at some speed, and it can only benefit everybody, not only in Haverfordwest but in Pembrokeshire, which is important to us.
The team ethos, together everyone achieves more. It's clear to see that is a real value. It's not just a slogan thrown away. It's a value that everybody, on field, off field, and even so much, the supporters as well. Morale is high across the whole community around the club. And I think everybody's excited going into phase 2 with that, yes, things are going well on the pitch, but also off it. We've only got to look, it's been months of playing away at the LHP Stadium in Carmarthen, but the ground development's finally come to a conclusion. I think it was over 1,600 across the 2 festive games of supporters who joined it. It must have been great for you walking out there to see a packed. I think we were about 20 odd short of capacity as well, but a bit of a game changer to be back at home with such great support.
Yeah, like you said, Carmarthen's been a great place for us, and they've been fantastic help to us. But there's no place like home, is it? And we've always had a decent record at home since I've been here, and before that, and we want that to continue. But just being at the club, the work that's been done, the new seats in the stand, and the whole ground just looks so much better. Obviously, we've taken one half of the stand down as well and put a standing area there. That's just transformed that area of the ground as well. It's just it's a great place to be. It's a great place to play football, and we're making it a place that people want to come and watch football as well. Back end of last season, we picked up our crowds were really good, and like you said, to have just under 1,500 for the Arbor game, and then 500 odd on a awful day as well against the Ferry, when the Pembrokeshire League were back playing as well. I'm just looking forward to a couple of Friday nights now, when once we confirm the fixtures, and we know we'll play Friday nights against anybody from South Wales, and we just really want to pack the ground, let them have a good night, enjoy themselves, and get behind the boys, because when they're then in numbers, it totally changes the dynamic of the game, and the fans have been brilliant. And listen, the fans, they week in, week out coming to Carmarthen as well and getting themselves there. How tough that is. And people think it's just down the road. It's not down the road anymore, not when the roadworks are going on or the trains aren't running. So you know, we really appreciate the people who supported us at Carmarthen and made that trip for what was it, 9 games plus cup games. So it's nice that we can come home now and give them something to enjoy back at home.
Yeah, I think I'm right in saying we're currently the 4th best average home attendance throughout the phase 1 period. And like you said, 9 games, that's probably high 80% worth of games away from home, 40 minutes, you know, from ground to ground there. So to be 4th, you know, in the league table, in league standings for our home attendance average, that's incredible, you know, and it's a real achievement from the community. That there was great, you know, there was new faces coming to Carmarthen as well, not just sort of the week in, week out faithful. So hopefully, like you said, that continues and we continue to pack out the Meadow. Looking more so at the present, it's been a bit of a ridiculous week, I'll say, for the Cymru leagues. The drama never ending, but at the end of Jenner Park on Tuesday night, I don't think I'll ever forget the last couple of minutes there. Obviously, the disallowed goal, but seeing Steve Jenkins, the Barry Town manager, seeing him getting told that the game in Flintshire had been called off after he thought they'd clinched top 6 themselves, I must admit, well, I'm sure you did. We all felt for him. But for us, I suppose, selfishly, it was just nice knowing that we weren't in any jeopardy on the night.
Yeah, I think we've been 3 games, and it was before we played Aber, and the game's New Year's Eve sort of went in a way that made us top 6, which was in our hands for a long time anyway. So, you know, we were glad to get that off our back really and qualify. But yeah, it was tough, especially when Forsey's not goal went in. You know, everybody, all the Barry players on the floor, and nobody appealed for handball anyway for the start. And you just thought, oh my God, I can't believe what's just happened. You know, they've missed out on top 6, and then they disallowed the goal, and so they're back in the top 6, and the whistle went, and found out walking off the pitch that the game was abandoned. And think, oh my God. Yeah. So they're in, out again, and so they got to go through that tonight. You know, I've seen a few statements from people saying about strength of teams and all this stuff tonight, but listen, I'm sure it'll be another tough game, and Barry will have everything crossed that Connors Key can put in the same performance as they did the other night. Connors Key are a very good side, we know that. They had a slow start to the season with injuries and people missing, but you know, they look back to what did you expect, and unfortunately, you know, whether they win or not tonight, they're missing out in the top 6. So the bottoms, as tough as we know, we've got the top 6 this year. The bottom 6 is a tough bottom 6 to be part of, because there's nobody out of it already, sort of thing. You know, and Aber, you know, a few points adrift at the bottom at the moment, but not like things have happened in the past. And we just think all 6 of them are going to have some right games over the next 10 fixtures. So it's going to be interesting who gets 7th, because there's several of them that'll be pushing for 7th place, and then, you know, as well as trying to avoid relegation.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot of drama in the top and bottom 6, and we know, like I said, the bottom 6, we know it well. There's never an easy game there. They're all going to be fighting for points, so there'll be one to keep an eye on. I said it's been a turbulent week. Announcements, lots of rumours and conversations on all sorts off the pitch. It's certainly got people talking about the Welsh domestic football, and I think it's the same old media outlets for me. They tend to only report on something when it's controversial. But with regards to the League Cup in particular, we both know the FAW getting the green light from the English FA is going to be easier said than done. Personally, I can't see 88 other English league clubs saying yes to it, but an interesting saga that people from both countries, I suppose, will be watching. We could sit, I'm sure, talk this over for hours and hours, all the pros, the cons, and the permutations. So we'll avoid all that. But what I want to ask you, if it all comes to life and it goes ahead next season, I know the League Cup and the Premier Cup are different entities, but I remember that Premier Cup back in the day as a youngster watching that. I don't want to age you, but it's about 20 years ago now, and I think you played in a fair few with them yourself. Wrexham back at the Meadow, which I think I'm right in saying is our highest ever attendance. I've been thinking about it. You got a potential reunion with a few people, Hugh Jenkins one being those at Newport County these days. A battle of the Bluebirds, or even your former employers at Swansea City. If this could happen next season, what are your thoughts on that proposition?
Well, first, I'm with you. I don't see the EFL giving the permission personally. but I'm not in those meetings, and I don't know what's said, and that's for other people. If it goes ahead and you know, the FAW is saying the benefit is going to be for Welsh football, then okay, I'm with it. But you know, I think a lot of people have asked for more detail and what it's going to look like. And ultimately, if it's going to benefit Welsh football, then it has to benefit Welsh football. We have to see where that money's going and who's benefiting from it, because that. If we lose in one of our 4 places in Europe, which we got back next season, then there has to be evidence of where it's going and how we're benefiting from that. But in terms of us then drawing one of those clubs, yeah, it'd be great for the lads, because everybody wants to play against the toughest opposition they can. And you know, I think we'd rather have a home game against any of them, really, and just it'd be nice for us to pit our wits against full-time clubs and full-time coaching staff, and seeing those players close up, you know, especially for our fans. It'd be nice for us to have a packed out meadow. And there'd be some interesting fixtures as well, like, you know, Barry, Cardiff, you know, on the doorstep, Pennock close to them as well. Then, you know, Ferry against the Swans, us against the Swans, all sorts of things, really, you know, mix them against any of the guys up north. So ultimately, it's got to benefit everybody in Wales, not just a select few. And I think people saying, I read a comment the other day, I'm not going to say who it was from, but to say that they weren't doing it for financial gain, come on. It's just say the reason why you want to play. It's not to help everybody else. It's for one reason. Everybody has seen how fantastic TNS have done this year, and what it's meant to them financially. And I listen, I applaud Mike Harris and all at TNS for, you know, for what they do year in, year out. And to get to a group stage is an unbelievable achievement for them this year. And I can't speak highly enough of what Craig and the staff and the players have done there. And they deserve every penny they've made from it. You know, and you know, we want to get in Europe. Yeah, we want to play and qualify for Europe, but we know what the financial gain it is for us as a club. You know, we don't hide from that fact. Without Europe last season, you know, a lot of things have gone on at the club this year because we haven't had the money from home games. So that money, you know, has had to help the chairman to do what he's done this year. Without it, you know, it's a massive help to every club that gets into Europe. And to say it's just for the benefit of the game is nonsense. Just say it as it is.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. Listen, it's going to happen. There must be a decision due soon, because you know, people have to get on with the competition for next year and planning for next year. So we can't wait till June for this to happen again. Like, you know, whereas you're hanging on for decisions to be made late in your preparations. You know, we all know. I'm sure other clubs who got a chance of European playoffs know when the European games are next year is ready. You know, I've already started pre-season, planning for 3 different pre-seasons. You know, so people have got to get their house in order. You know, all we do is look after ourselves and make sure ours is in order, and that's my job to do that on the football side.
Love it. It doesn't surprise me at all. You've already planned pre-season and everything at all. Articulate to the nth degree. Finally, Friday today, obviously, phase 2 fixtures hopefully will be out in the next few days now, once the conclusion of that infamous game that's going on up north this evening. What's the plans then over the next period before whenever our next fixture is going to be? I've given the boys a few days off, or are you back in training straight away? What's the plans?
No, I give the boys some time off after Tuesday night. They've had a tough spell over Christmas, trained a lot, played a lot over the Christmas period as well. Same as me, coughing. I'm still coughing now. A few of the boys have got that as well. A couple of them have been ill this week. So it was just a good chance for them to have some time. Some of them have gone away. They managed to get away this weekend, I think. So, you know, but they know they're going to be back in on Tuesday, and we'll be bang at it from Tuesday, ready for our first game next weekend.
Love it. Brilliant. Well, it goes without saying, everybody is well behind you and the boys. A guaranteed playoff spot wherever happens now, but with 10 games to secure a position, I suppose, as high up the league as possible, could not be more exciting. I think we find ourselves putting the seatbelts on yet again and preparing for this ride that's in front of us. We wouldn't have it any other way at Haverfordwest County, though. But anyone listening who wants to be part of this journey, keep an eye on the club's social media. for the announcement of those fixtures, which, like I said, will hopefully be out, if not across the weekend, early next week, I suppose. But Pence, thank you for this. Always a pleasure. Best of luck for it all, and I'm sure we'll be speaking to you again on the Nest in the near future.
Cheers, right. See you soon, mate.